Hey everybody, welcome to today's Bitcoin Minute, and today I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about mostly the regulatory environment of Bitcoin and also some of the problems that we have. And I think one of the best quotes to start this off with was something I've been saying for a long time about how the Bitcoin is the wild, wild west right now, and it's going to attract a lot of innovators, and there's not any regulations in place, or at least very few regulations, and so it's kind of a place where entrepreneurs and outlaws combine, and that's for me what makes it personally really exciting. And it was neat to see that one of the Winklevoss twins, there was regulatory hearings in New York City today, and one of the Winklevoss twins, let's see, it wasn't Tyler, it was his brother, Cameron, mentioned this whole wild, wild west scenario. And he said one thing that I do believe in, which is that ultimately regulation will become, play the biggest role in Bitcoin's forthcoming evolution, he said. And, this is a double-edged sword, the regulation of Bitcoin. And probably the greatest amount of comments and posts and questions I've gotten has to do with BitInstant's CEO, Charlie, what is his last name? Charlie Shrem from BitInstant. Now, this was a guy on the board of the Bitcoin Foundation, which is seen as like the kind of the main advocacy center for Bitcoin over the years. I have a friend that's on the Bitcoin Foundation as well, and this was kind of a big blow to them that Charlie was arrested for money laundering recently. And the main gist of why he was arrested, it sounds like, and the guy's not, he's not clean. There's a lot of gray areas, and he was fine by the looks of it, sliding amongst the gray areas. And so he got kind of tripped up on the, from what I understand, the turning a blind eye to the $1,000 a day limit on anonymous money purchases. And if you're a executive officer in charge of a company like his, you need to be reporting things, at least according to the U.S. government. Not something I approve of. I don't approve of those kinds of regulations from the U.S. government, but nevertheless, that is what tripped him up. My take on Charlie's arrest is that, most people that have contacted me think this is some kind of a major blow for Bitcoin. This isn't a major blow for Bitcoin. This is kind of akin to the president or CEO of a large bank getting indicted for money laundering, right? It's not going to crash the dollar if that happens. It's the same thing here. BitInstant with Mr. Shrem getting indicted in this, it's not going to crash Bitcoin. In fact, Bitcoin is beyond any one nation, let alone one individual, one president or CEO or executive officer. So something to consider. It's, in fact, those of us that really believe in Bitcoin, when we saw the market take a little bit of a dip, we saw the price of Bitcoin go down, our forums lit up, our Bitcoin group online lit up, and people were buying, and some people made really good money in the period of 24 hours before it returned to the price it was at before. So something to consider is that there are some emotional investors in Bitcoin right now, and when they see some major headlines in the media that say, world's coming to an end, a major figure in Bitcoin is being accused of money laundering, well, to those of us in the know, that doesn't really mean anything, because Bitcoin is way, way beyond that kind of an influence. So that's that. That's about all I want to say about Charlie Shrem. I do believe in the Bitcoin Foundation, and they have already recovered. He's resigned from the board. It is a really good organization, and I think they need our support and understand that it is the wild, wild west, and there's going to be some casualties out there, good and bad and indifferent, and we'll let history be the judge of that. But it is a good organization that I want to support and lend my support to. What other news do we have today I want to talk on here? The only other thing I really want to talk about is the State of the Union is happening tonight. I'm not watching it. I don't think that a gentleman that doesn't write his own speeches and believes in spying on millions of Americans without a warrant deserves my attention. He deserves my my pushing back and my holding to the fire, so to speak, my holding him accountable to what our nation is founded on, with respect at the same time there. And so I'm not watching that, but one thing I did watch was Edward Snowden's interview. And I love Edward Snowden. I think that guy is amazing. I think he's one of the unsung, not unsung, I think he is one of the heroes of our generation and will go down in history as a defender of freedom and liberty. And I have to think that the principles of freedom and of the natural man and the negative rights that we have, if you haven't heard that term, look up negative rights online today. They're encompassed in Bitcoin. You know, you have a right to transfer your assets to somebody else without somebody telling you that you by the use of force, that you don't have that right. You have a right to have those assets protected. And unfortunately, nowadays, those are dangerous words. Those are words that the government doesn't want to let people think about or say or speak. And they're words that need to be said. And people need to be growing in their education of the principles of freedom and liberty. And that's one of the things that attracted me personally to Bitcoin. And hopefully one of the things that you'll grow to love about Bitcoin too. Now, there's a lot of development that needs to happen with Bitcoin. It's still in its infancy. It's still in the wild, wild west. But the principles are so sound, it's like betting against America. You know, there was fledgling years in America too. But the principles are sound, and the principles for many people are worth fighting for and even dying for. And that's kind of one of the exciting things about being alive in this day and age. Is there are some real lovers of freedom and in the principles of freedom, and these kind of people flock to Bitcoin, and as the haters turn into converts, either because they catch it or because they're forced to, we're going to see a different world in many ways. Kind of like how the internet changed communication, Bitcoin is changing the financial structure of the world. So that's it for today. Hope that was enough for you today. Hope that answered some questions on BitInstant. It's not going to crash Bitcoin. In fact, it barely is. It's a glitch, and a real glitch, not an Obamacare glitch. This is a real glitch that barely affects Bitcoin. So thanks a lot for watching.